the underground scares me. I don't like that place, but it's a little bit exhausting, but I guess it is the ultimate goal for a lot of people. To-do lists are my best friend. I love a to-do list. There's about 20 million trillion on my phone, and I just remember it was so random. I was just like, oh, there's a picture of me in the studio. There's a cover of me that I recorded at a singing lesson. Let's go. Release it.
That'll do.
There's so much creativity that can be put into something that's already been created. Yeah. To be here and to be in Aberdeen is definitely so much closer to, you know, to becoming successful and to getting these opportunities that I wouldn't have gotten if I didn't live here, basically.
Hello, Seasonal Discussions is back again. Yes, this face, yes, this voice. Sorry, they won't be here forever. He lied. They probably will be. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to click like and subscribe. It's free. It supports us, but it also supports wonderfully creative human beings who also join us in the studio. Like this week, Nicole D. We're not going to go for surnames because I've tried this before when I had Nicole on the radio and butchered it massively. I was like, dead.
Docillus.
Is it Docillus?
It is Docillus.
Okay, there we go.
Well, I like to call it Docillus. But there's a lot of different... I get loads.
It was when you came into the studio, the first thing was just like, it's Nicole D. It's easier. I hate explaining it too much.
That's why I made up the name. That's why the name was made up, because I didn't want people to have a difficult time, you know, pronouncing my last name. But it did work, you know. It's a artist persona. And
exactly.
It
it's
works.
like Cher, but just with an initial instead of an entire single first name. I don't know. I'm tired.
Cardi B, that's one.
There.
That's one.
See, that would have been the more logical one for me to go with. Instead, not like showing my age. Cher. It's like Cher. It's nothing like Cher at all. How are you, for starters? Because you've had a long week away. You've just come back. You got back into Aberdeen 2 days ago.
2 days ago, yeah.
Yeah. Have you
I've
recovered?
had some time to recover. Yeah. I mean, London life gets you. I guess you know. You when you go into London, it's a completely different atmosphere and a completely different lifestyle. But it kind of it comes naturally. You just kind of, you know, you go into London and you're a different person.
Yeah.
And you switch and you're like, oh, okay, like everyone's like being fast here. Everyone's running somewhere, and there's always signs that say no running, and you're like, okay, well, everyone's running, so I feel like I need to run. Like,
if they run, I must run. How do we get where we're going?
Exactly. But, you know, that compares to, like, life as well. You know, not
true.
just being late from a train. You know, the underground scares me. I don't like that place. But,
that's fair.
But it's London is so different, especially in the music industry. It's so competitive, like I said before, and so just... it exhausts you.
Yeah.
Actually, it's a little bit exhausting, but I guess it is the ultimate goal for a lot of people.
Yeah.
To move there and to be there and to kind of take the London air and use that, manipulate that into your careers.
I couldn't do London as a whole. So, I mean, obviously, we've mentioned already, down in London, you've been busy down there, and you mentioned music. That is why you're here. You are a local artist, singer, songwriter, producer, event organizer, student, staff member. It's just, this is like, do you have an extra like time machine somewhere that manages to fit enough hours into the day to do all this
really
stuff?
difficult. You know, I've the past year. Or the past 6 months more, like I've really tried to find a balance of everything because it's so hard. I think to-do lists are my best friend. I love a to-do list. There's about 20 million trillion on my phone, and I always look at them and I always make a new one, and I make a to-do list for the month, a to-do list for the day, a to-do list for the hour, and a to-do list for the minute. There's loads. There's so many.
Oh my God.
There's so many, but I like being busy. Yeah. I say to everyone, I'm always like spare time is scary to me. I hate spare time.
Fair.
It's terrifying because I don't know what to do with myself. Like, to the point where like one time I was on my holiday and I was like, I'm laying on the sunbed, I'm getting a tan, but I could be doing something more. I could be multitasking. Like, I don't like this spare time. Like, I need to have like goals and
there has to be something happening at this point in time.
Something needs to happen. And then a couple of weeks ago as well, when I didn't have like a clear, like I didn't have something to do, I remember I was a bit like, oh my God, nothing's going wrong. Nothing's not going my way. There's no problems to solve. Who am I? What is happening?
And why? Why is there nothing going wrong?
Why?
Where was the fire?
What is happening? Exactly. So yeah, loads happening always. But I think just finding the balance of having a life, you know, working, obviously, money. You need it. Like, there's no way around it. And, you know, being an artist, it's really difficult to make an income, especially at the early stages that I'm in just now. And you know, you need to find balance in life, and you need to find, you know, a flexible job that lets you go to London, you know,
Yes.
some weekends, because that is, you know, the reality of things. Like, I'll message my manager and I'll be like, look, I'm so sorry, but I can't go in. Like, I've got this, I don't know, gig, I've got this session. I really need to be down somewhere, and I need to switch my shifts around. But everyone knows, and everyone's always like, Nicole, like
oh, she's off
everyone's
again.
expecting me to message them and be like, can I swap shifts with you? I need to go somewhere. But yeah, they're so helpful with it. And yeah, job, life. You know, I'm turning 18 in December, and trying to organize my 18th birthday party, and just everything. Yeah, just trying to have, you know, time to see my friends, time to see people that, you know, live. My friends recently moved to Dundee, and I'm trying to get a time where I can see her as well. Just trying to live your life. And I guess sometimes I look at the outer picture of everything, and I'm like, you know, if I don't enjoy it, why am I doing it?
Yeah.
And it's important to, like I said, the balance of, you know, enjoying it, but also pushing yourself, but also finding time for yourself, and finding time to focus on yourself is so sometimes a lot of effort. But then when you go a week and you're like, look, I've done everything on this to-do list, and I've just locked it, and I've got it done, it makes you feel so good about yourself. Just so, I don't even know how to describe it.
That
so
sense
proud,
of accomplishment of
and
I've done
showing
something.
up. Yeah, exactly. Showing up for yourself, and even small things like, you know, going to the gym, moving your body, exercising. Like I've at the start of this year, when I started going to the gym, I was like, oh my God, I show up for myself. I lift these weights, you know, they're not very strong, but I still lift these weights.
You're lifting
and
something.
I show up, and I go, sometimes I go at 6 a.m., sometimes I go in the afternoon. It doesn't have to be a specific time. But I'm here, and I'm showing up for myself. And just like with to-do lists, that kind of translates into each other. You know, you're here, you're showing up for yourself, and you're living this life that you want to live, basically.
See, it's, you say still relatively, like, you know, new and starting off in the industry. You're planning your 18th birthday. You're saying you're still, but you're not that new into it, because you've been recording and writing music for a few years.
Yeah. My first YouTube video that I released was a cover. I was actually thinking about this on my way here. I was like, what is the first thing that I did? I released my first YouTube video 6 years ago, or 6 or 7 years ago. Probably check that.
Not last week, in the last decade. There we go.
Yeah, it was a cover of True Colours by Cyndi Lauper.
Yep.
And I just remember it was so random. I was just like, oh, there's a picture of me in the studio. There's a cover of me that I recorded at a singing lesson. Let's go, release it.
That'll do.
That'll do. And I just posted it, and I guess that's where everything kind of started. But even before that, like a pre the YouTube Cyndi Lauper cover, when I was in nursery in Poland, back before we moved here, I had a singing teacher, or my nursery teacher, who was also really into music. She heard me singing one of the nursery rhymes, and was like, "Oh, Nicole, good voice." Now that I think about it, like, that, you know, great, but I must have been really, I don't know, either loud or I don't know what I was doing, maybe very expressive, that really, you know, I don't know, got her in her feels, or I don't know, because she sent me to singing competitions in Poland, and I would go to these singing competitions, and I remember, like, I would not have a care in the world. I'd just go, and I'd just sing, my heart out, go off the stage, and be like, oh, that was like, I wouldn't even really, like, acknowledge or so much care about the fact that I was on stage and performing. You know, it would just sort of naturally come to me, which I honestly wish I was like that now, because
I miss the innocence.
I miss the old days, because now, like, when I go on stage, you know, obviously you overthink everything. Like, oh my God, everything. When you go on stage, you know, what you say, how you act, your body language, move too much, not too little, make sure to sing, you know, remember to sing, remember to breathe. Like, it's so much different. And I think every single day, for me, maybe it doesn't get worse, but it just, I learned to control it in a different way, because I don't know when, but I had a moment where I was just like, oh my God, like, this is, like, I'm performing, like, I'm on stage. Like, I actually started to understand what I was doing, and I wish I didn't.
Yeah.
I wish it just kind of, it was back in the day that I got to still.
Wish it was more just of an actual, just go up, do a thing,
Yeah.
come off, not think about it. This isn't a performance. I'm just standing up, I'm singing, I'm coming away again.
Yeah.
See, that was the Cyndi Lauper one was your first one. I was listening to one of your other ones earlier before you came in. Your Coldplay's Paradise cover. It's up on there, which I love that song anyway. Like I'm not a massive Coldplay fan. Haven't been ever. There's a couple of songs that came out and I'm like, yeah. But when I used to work at Shmoo, Paradise was always one of my favourite tracks to put on because I just thought it was a nice, cool little thing. And I put it on randomly in the back. I think I was clicking through your website or something at one point, and it was on there, and I just thought I'll let stuff run in the background so I can listen and take it in. And it was the one where I actually found myself stopping and going, no, I'm going to stop and listen to this now for a minute.
Oh, really?
So that cover version, like cover versions are obviously a massive thing. Are they still something that you do a little bit now, just to keep yourself in the flow of it?
I'm trying to focus more on originals, but covers is what got me into music. You know, it's what everyone does covers, and they get into, you know, everyone that pursues to be an artist. You know, covers is what gets you loving what you do, and what, you know, learning. Every artist will have a song that they learned first on guitar, or that they learned first the chords to on piano, and then they took those chords and wrote their first little tune. And I guess it's just something that really gets you into the industry and gets you loving everything. But I did used to have like a little schedule in my head. I would be like, oh, I post one original, two covers, original, two covers, and I wanted to keep that going. And I remember, I'll tell you a little story behind that Paradise cover actually. That was the reason I decided to do that was because I remember, I don't even know what it was now, but there was a trend going on TikTok or on Musical.ly. No, it was TikTok already. And it was something about like a long distance, like, I don't even know, but it had the song Paradise behind it, and it was the original version. And I thought, oh, let's jump on a trend. let's do it. And I was like, I want these covers, you know, maybe this will resonate with someone, and someone who likes the trend will also recognize the song and then recognize me through the song. And I had a little strategy behind it, and I was like, okay, let's do it. So I messaged a guitarist that I worked with before at one of the singing competitions that it was called Applaus. It was a singing competition that I went to here. It was in Peterborough. And that was back when, you know, I didn't really know what to do. So I was like, oh, here, let's go from Poland singing competitions to here singing competitions. You know, I can do that. Easy. I know what that is. So I met a couple. One of the rounds there was that you, when you move up rounds, you get to perform with musicians, live musicians, and they perform a live version of the cover that you auditioned with into the competition. So I met those musicians through there, and I messaged him and I was like, look, I would love for you to create a track, an acoustic version of the song Paradise. But obviously, busy life, you know, busy people. I completely get it. I think it was like a couple weeks after I got that back, and I was like, okay, let's do it. The trend was over by then. The trend, no one remembered what the trend was. And to be fair, I didn't either. So
just sitting going, hang on, why did I ask for this again?
But I got it, and I was like, look, I love the song, and I really want to do it in my own way, and I want to interpret it in my kind of. I used to be really bad for copying covers, just doing it exactly the same as people would do it. But recently, I've started to kind of do it in my own way, and that was the kind of first song that I remember. I was like, oh, I could change something. Like, I don't have to do that exactly like it is on the original. I can do something different with this. So I'll do it, and I'll do some high bits, and you know, Coldplay doesn't do it high, but I'll do it high, and I was like, oh, I can do that, and it actually sounds maybe not. I'm not saying better than the original, but a lot different, and I think different in my own way, and that makes it better for me as an artist. So that was the little story behind that.
Sounds like your version of the original as opposed to just a copy of the original.
Exactly.
I think that's the thing. So it sounds really daft, but I always say in the creative side of things, there's almost no such thing as a new idea in creative nowadays. Everything is an adaptation of something that has come from before. Films are constantly being remade, not always shot for shot. Songs are being re-released, not always exact covers of what they were before. TV series are being remade and reproduced and re-brought out, but it doesn't mean that it can't be your version of something else. So if you're putting your own spin on things, you're changing the pitch, you're delivering lines slightly differently than what the original did. Makes a massive difference to how people remember you. Like one of my favourite tracks of all time was done by an artist called Ursine Volpine. They did a cover version of, dear God, the songs, I'll put a video of it somewhere here on the screen because I can't remember off the top of my head. But now I can't even remember the original version of the song because I only remember this version of it instead.
The new interpretation,
Yeah, and it's just like, it doesn't demean the original in any way. It doesn't mean it.
No.
You know, no one's ripped off the original one. It's Wicked Game. That's what it was. Damn it! That just literally came back out of nowhere. Ursine Volpine's Wicked Game. Ursine Volpine and Akana Wicked Game. There's a cover version for people to go and find. I think it was like Chris Rea or something who did the original version. Tangents. My brain's gone off on one. But yeah, cover versions are. I hate when people frown on them. Because a lot of people look at it and go, all they do is cover versions. And it's like, even if that is all they do, stop demeaning someone for what they've done. Because that takes a hell of a lot of guts to do.
There's so much creativity that can be put into something that's already been created. So much, like, honestly, everything. I think in college just now, we do a lot of things with bands and a lot of, you know, cover versions. That's the kind of thing that you start off doing before you think about originals. And I think learning to put your own spin on things and learning how to take it and think, okay, I like this. What can I do with it that's more me or that's more us collectively as a band? I think that's so incredibly beneficial because then you're like, okay, these are the rules. This is how I break the rules. This is how I break the rules to make it my own. Yeah. And now I can implement that into original songs and break the rules of the original things that are already out there and write that and make that from scratch and do that myself. There's so many things that can happen and like the creative process that can provoke. Another thing that we're taught to do as well is to to do with producing. I'm not great at producing. I'm actually really, really bad.
Like that is not my
I don't have the patience for it. I sit down and I'm like, look, it's not doing what I'm telling it to do. I don't know how to fix it. I'm just like, guys, I can't do it. And everyone's in my class is just like, Nicole, no, you're doing it. I'm just like, no.
The mental torture.
Take it away. I don't want to do it.
It's like I've heard myself too much. I'm done.
Literally. It's so I get so sick of my voice. Yeah. I'm like, I can't do it, but sometimes you can produce things that have already been produced. And I found that so beneficial as well because you're like, okay, they made that into this sound. How can I make that into this sound? How can I kind of learn from that? And then the purpose of copying the producing in there, I say copying, trying to do the same kind of thing is so helpful when you try to do that yourself. Not to say you're going to do exactly the same as you did that for that produced song. I don't know if I'm making sense right now.
We get it. You're not going to necessarily do everything, like you say, shot for shot, exact the way they did, but you're going to follow the same process and create your own version of it at the end. It's like there's processes in place for a reason. It's because people have found this is the best way to do something. But it doesn't mean you're not going to find your own little bits to put into it. Someone's going to be like, okay, so you transition at this point in a video. It's like, okay, well, you did this type of transition. I'm still going to transition there, but I might do a different one.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you say, there's so many little elements, little teeny bits that people, what the hell was that? That people can adapt and do as they go through something. You've said already, you've started off, 6-7 years ago posting online. Before that with music competitions in Poland through the nursery teacher. So we're in Aberdeen. You spent a lot of time in London. You've done music stuff at nursery in Poland. Go back even further, but you're actually born in Ireland.
You're making me sound like I travel the world.
Well, this is the thing. It's like you're not even 18 yet, and you've experienced more of the world than people who've been like, in their 40s in Aberdeen. I've travelled.
Do you know what? I really don't. I should probably have a conversation with my parents and say, why was I actually born in Ireland? Because I don't know.
Well, see, that was going to be the next question. It's just like, how did that happen? Like, how did they go from?
I've got no clue. Like, I don't know. My mom just. My auntie was living in Ireland, and I think they were visiting her there. Yeah. And I think back then, obviously, her aunt, that was my mum's sister. We were just kind of like, trying to find our place in the world. And we knew that Poland wasn't, well, my parents knew that it wasn't Poland back then. And they wanted to find a different place where they could settle down. And I think that, it was all to do with my auntie was there. And I don't know, the hospital was there. And they just was like, let's go. Like, let's do it.
Are both parents Polish nationality?
They are.
And you're, goodness me. I think you'd travelled more by the time you were probably like 2 years old.
More
than a lot of people have. So how long were you actually in Ireland for before the family then went back over to...
I don't even know my background. I don't even know my story.
Not long, I'm guessing.
Not long at all.
So it's not like you were there for 5-6 years.
No, I think we went back to Poland after I was born,
Okay.
shortly after. And then we moved to the UK.
Yeah.
And we moved to Aberdeen. It was a friend of a friend of a friend that was like, oh, for my dad, oh, I have a job here,
Yeah.
a joiner job that you can take. And it just kind of all, you know, building something from scratch like that is insane. And I think I will forever be grateful to my parents that they decided to move here. You know, with everything going on in the world, I feel like it's so, the amount of opportunities that you get here and it's so incredibly like different to the life that you know we would have lived in Poland.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can say that.
It's
all to do with like
that's good though. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a difference of lifetime. It's
Yeah.
not always a negative. Like some people will look at where they are as a negative, and
Yeah.
it's just your own interpretation of it. It's your own. You know, this is the way the world is, and I feel like I've got more opportunities here.
for what I want to do.
Exactly.
I think definitely it's a better place for me to be just
Yeah.
now, you know, closer to London, closer to where the music industry actually is,
Yeah.
you know, rather than Europe, more looking into the UK, you
Yeah.
know, America's the, you know, Nashville, that is like the center of the music industry.
Yeah.
But I would say London is really, really close to that. And I think for my music career and for everything that's happened in my life, to be here and to be in Aberdeen is definitely so much closer to you know, to becoming successful and to getting these opportunities that I wouldn't have gotten if I didn't live here, basically.
Yeah, but that time in Poland, that time with the nursery
yeah,
teacher,
exactly.
those competitions, they provided that foundation
100%.
that you have now. So yeah, you know, it might be a case of I get better opportunities over here, but you wouldn't have them if it hadn't been for that foundation in the first place.
Exactly.
So it's
Every
still built that block
stepping
for you.
stone was there for a big reason,
Yep.
and that got me to a point where I couldn't have gotten if it wasn't for that thing before.
Yeah. Those opportunities that you mentioned, you yourself have done a lot to provide opportunities for others within Aberdeen. We've spoke to other creatives in the past about there was a lot done at NESCOL, RGU, Aberdeen Uni, even places like Crow House for creating stuff to
Yeah, I've been to one of their
create.
networking events.
Their
It's
stuff
really,
is so
really
good. Was that the recent one?
It was, yeah,
I
I
was
got-
supposed to get to that. Is that Bartenders or Brew? I can't remember the name
I
of the place.
don't know if it was the recent one. It was the one right after Next Wave.
Oh
I
no,
remember they
I don't know
invite-
one.
Oh, that's
like
not
2
the
weeks
recent
ago.
one.
Then no,
Never
you're
mind,
okay.
never mind.
But this. There's a lot done to produce solid creative talent or nurture developing talent in Aberdeen, but there's not done a lot to showcase or retain it in Aberdeen because there's nothing here for people to aspire to within the city. It's like Aberdeen's another stepping stone almost. But you provided a platform for others to showcase themselves when you put on Next Wave. How did that come about? What was Next Wave and how did it come about?
I could talk about this for days.
Excellent.
So Next Wave came about from the fact that obviously, as you said, you know, I'm down in London quite a lot, and the industry there is very competitive, and it's also it's out of reach for a lot of people that are here and for a lot of artists. And when I first started music and when I first started, you know, understanding how to actually get to where I want to be, I was like, look, I don't know where to meet people. You know, people say that you need to have all these contacts and you need to have, you know, people that make your music, produce your music, make music videos, do your content on social media, post your content on social media, do your makeup, make your outfits, you know, fashion designers, everything.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know where to search for these people. I have no idea. Like, I don't know where to look. And I think some of those people came about for me. One of them was through singing competitions. One of them was through just putting myself out there and being active on socials and kind of, you know, it was really difficult to get each and every single one of the contacts that I acquired. You know, it was a lot of work basically, and I'm not saying it wasn't worth it because it definitely was. But I wanted to make that a little bit easier for everyone in Aberdeen because it's not something that is really talked about.
Yeah.
And there's so many amazing talent here that I believe needs to be showcased and you know, advocated for, but there's not really opportunities for that. So I thought if I make that for myself, it was a bit of a wild one because I was like, look, I don't know if I can like just make this from scratch.
Yeah.
Like, but then I thought, you know, life's simple. If you want to do something, you can just do it.
Do it. Yeah.
just get on with it and to make a plan and see what the problems are. Problems are there to be fixed. That is one of my favorite things to ever say. You know, if you've got a problem, that's there to be fixed.
Yeah.
There's no point of crying about it. There's so many things that went wrong with Next Wave that no one knows. Behind the scenes, like I said before, before we started the episode, we were like, oh my god, so many things that go wrong.
Yeah.
But you just you learn from that, and you literally, you just have to do something to fix that problem. And if you can't, then you have to look at a different way. Giving up is never an option, ever. It's just not something that sits in my head, and not something that is in my mindset. I've completely thrown that idea away. It's just what I can do to fix it, and how I can kind of change what I'm doing to fix the problem, essentially. But yeah, back to Next Wave. It was something that I wanted to do that never was done for me as an artist. I feel like you have to work so hard by yourself, and it can be a really, really lonely process, because it's just you don't really know if you're doing the right thing, and you don't know if your videos are actually getting to an audience and getting somewhere. And until you start maybe noticing a higher reach on your TikToks or on your YouTube videos, you don't have confirmation that what you're doing is actually real. Sometimes it doesn't actually feel like, is anyone even seeing my songs? Is anyone even relating to them? Am I even doing this for a reason? Should I even be doing this? And I found myself questioning that so much. But then when I started acquiring, these contacts and people that I started working with, and kind of like a team of people that helped me put my vision to life, I think before that, I knew what it felt like, and I wanted to kind of have people feel a bit less alone, and a bit more like, there's other people doing this. And if you can chat to this person at this gig where you're seeing live music that is also new music, that also, you have to work really, really hard, then that just makes you feel so much better and so much less alone in what you do. And just, it gives you some sort of, I don't know, like a comforting feeling, because that you're not by yourself, and that you're doing the right thing, and maybe if you can speak to someone and someone can give you some advice. And I had some of my college lecturers there with me as well, who I know that most of the people in that room, if they came up to Dan Stevenson or Scott McGill, they would have 100% given them if they said, I'm here right now, what can I do to be in a different place in the next year? They would have said, do this, don't do that, and do this. And I feel like hearing that from someone who has experienced the industry and teaches that, and I go to these people to learn, and they provide me with their industry experience, and they can do that for other people who come to these gigs. Then I was like, that is what I needed when I was struggling to find my place in the industry. That is exactly what I was looking for, and I didn't know where to find that. So I thought, if I could make that for other people, that would be the best thing that could happen to me, because that was what I said at the start. The success behind Next Wave was not a sold out show, or people dancing and bopping around along to my songs, because I was performing as well. That wasn't the success that I had envisioned for that project. It was more the fact that if anyone found a collaboration opportunity, if anyone heard a good piece of advice, when they were there, that was my ultimate success. That was success to me, because that was putting an impact on the industry, and kind of changing it in some kind of little way that helps people, and that was beneficial to other people.
It's a massive thing to do, because that initial start off point is so big, and it's the difference between people actually trying to make a success out of this, like you're doing now, and people giving up on that dream way too early because they just didn't have that one person that might be able to offer them that one little bit of advice, or one person who could maybe make a connection for them or somewhere else, or just a space where they could go and exist and realise that, yes, what I want to do is actually a thing that's possible. And the reaction that came back from Next Wave was huge. I mean, credit to you for even putting on something of that space, because Drummond's is well known in Aberdeen as one of the most popular spots for new music artists performing anyway. To get that as a venue, to get the people to come and actually attend, to get the performers to come along, but it's one of those that you don't, even though I'd imagine even on the day you're sitting looking at it going, I'm going to get like 5 people turning up. This is going to bomb.
I was terrified. I was so scared. I remember I had a Nando's before, and I was like, look, I can't, like,
I don't want to go along.
I don't want to go in. I don't want to go. Like, I was like, I'm scared because it was so terrifying. And I think, just to add to everything, I was organizing, I was hosting, presenting all the people that were there, and I was also performing. So I think that is the 3 most stressful things that you can do at any live show or performance. Like, you know, performing on its own. Like, I remember we had, I think, a couple of rehearsals before, and they were so stressful. And I was like, guys, I don't know if I can perform. Like, I don't know. My band just heard everything there. Like, I would come into rehearsals, and they'd be like, Nicole, how's it going? How's organized? And I'd be like, no, don't even speak about it. Like, don't even talk to me about it. Because
leave me alone.
Just, I can't do it. Like, but I think through that, like, you know, I could always speak to someone, and they were really, really supportive in everything. And I'm so grateful to them for always listening to all of my, you know, my moaning about like not being able to do stuff and you know, people not being able to work with me. And there's so many things that I would speak about to them that I'd be like, guys, I don't know if I can make this work, but I'm going to try. Yeah. And if it doesn't work, you know, at least I tried. And
there is someone we need to put you in contact with. Talk about meeting up and collaborations and everything else. There is a marketing agency in Aberdeen who are keen to work with local creatives to put on and showcase events like Next Wave. So if Next Wave's going to come back, Hannah Adams.
Next Wave.
Yeah. Second wave.
Second wave.
Tidal wave. Tsunami we get to.
We could make up so many names right now. Oh my God.
Don't. This is where my brain goes off onto multiple things. Hannah Adams, you've been in an episode in the past and you've spoke here on the show about wanting to help support local creatives and find other events to help promote. Just saying, just putting it out there, Hannah. Also, there's another one currently in the process of being produced, not Next Wave side of things, but there's actually an animation one currently being created as well, an animation showcase that's going to put on in Aberdeen as well. So again, spoilers. I'm saying nothing else beyond that, but we've got a future guest who will be on to talk about more. Is Next Wave going to happen again? Are you going to do it again?
I really want to. There's a lot of things behind the scenes happening right now that I can't really reveal yet, just because, you know, if they don't happen, I don't want to get anyone
don't want people to have this on the
internet. There's a lot of things that are going on, and I really want to make it. Obviously, Next Wave was a really, really big live gig, networking event. There was creatives there. There was creatives performing. There was delegates you could speak to, I guess, in the industry. But I want to do something a little bit different. Okay. I feel like I love the idea of a big launch event, and I think we made that happen, and that was like a big thing that is kind of launched the company and the business, I guess, side of things.
It's launched the brand.
The brand. Wave. Oh, exactly. Yeah. That's the word I was looking for.
There you go.
Got it.
I helped.
But I want to do something a little bit more, I guess, like intimate in maybe even in Drummond's again. I want to do something more talkative. I love talking. I love blabbing. We have that in common.
Yes. There's a reason that we're both sitting here.
And I want to do something with these music professionals. And I have a couple of people in mind that I think would really be down for coming down to Aberdeen and doing something like this with me, like a sit-down live kind of thing. Where they can give advice to musicians and to people that... I'm revealing my idea here. It might not happen, but it might. It might not.
The thought is out there. Well, the plus point is you're putting it out here. There are people who will watch this who support the creative industries in Aberdeen and might think this is something they want to get behind and support you with as well.
Amazing.
So you never know.
So I'm just putting my ideas out there, but I definitely want to do another big event where there's live music and people performing and people you get to talk to. I really, really enjoyed that. I feel like that was such a cool way of mixing the two together, and Drummond's is such a cool space as well for obviously you've got the downstairs bit with the big stage and you can actually just focus on the music and enjoy that. You've got the bar, you've also got the upstairs area with all the tables and things like that, and it's just good to kind of sit down and just have a conversation and have a chat and just starting that conversation, because you
Yeah.
never know. You literally never know who you're talking to or who you might meet in places like that. And if you don't put yourself out there, you'll never find out.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of did it, and why I wanted to make that little difference.
Well, you did. You've made a big difference to a lot, and people still talk about it now. It's not like people say, "Oh, it was a one and done thing. It was finished." People still talk about it and say, "That was good. When's the next?" Not necessarily when's the next wave, but when is the next thing we can get along to? When is the next Crow House production one? When is RGU doing something? When is Nezcall doing something? It gets people more interested in actually making that next step to doing something with their hobby, their passion that they want to try and make more out of. 90% of people in the creative industries work in it because they had an idea when they were younger and it spiraled and led them to where they are now.
Yeah.
You know, you started singing, you've gone from singing to songwriting to, as much as you might say you're not very good at it, the production side of things as well, to putting on shows, to traveling UK and Europe wide to perform. It all stems from that one little passion hobby you had originally. And if we can find a way to, as cliche as it might sound, fan the flames of that idea for people,
Yeah. Exactly.
Aberdeen as a whole will continue to grow and benefit from it, I think, which is a great thing to do. So, yeah, massive credit to you for putting on an event like that.
Because there's so much space in the industry. As much as people say, oh, no, there's already enough singer-songwriters, there's already enough artists. And no, there's not.
No.
There is so much space for creatives, and not just for artists, but for people that want to, you know, create stuff and work in that creative industry. There's so much space, and there's so much money, and there's so much success that you can achieve. I think it's just the journey of getting there. But at the same time, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Exactly.
So there's no point of kind of saying, oh, like, I'm bad at this. I might not get to where I want to be. I think I've shifted my perspective quite a lot. When I started out, I think everyone, when they start out, they think, oh, I'll just keep going, and then I'll meet someone, and then they'll take me with them, and I'll be successful. And I had that perspective on my career for a really long time, for a couple of years since I started. I thought, you know, if I was to meet someone famous, they would take me up with them and they would say, oh, look, this is the creative world.
Yeah.
This is where you are now, you know, make music and you'll be famous.
Yeah.
That is so not true. I think when you realize that you just genuinely have to put the work in, and no one's coming to get you, no one's coming to help you, and it's a hard truth, but I think the sooner I realized that, the more I was also a little bit at peace with myself, if that makes sense. I was like, look, I am not doing this for an end goal. I am not doing this to become successful. I am already successful because I am in the process. And there's a video I pinned on my Instagram that kind of showed a couple clips from what I've been doing for the past couple of years. And the caption of it just said, falling in love with the process. Yeah. Because it's so important to just love what you're doing right now, and not say, oh, you know, I'll write this song. I have an idea for a song, but it's a little bit it's too much, you know. I'll save it for when I'm a little bit bigger. Yeah. No. Just release it. Just do it, and don't hold that limitation on yourself. That you'll do it when you're gonna be in a different stage in life. Like that's not a thing at all. You are where you are right now, and you have to learn to just kind of realize to be so happy with that, and just be like, look, I'm here, and I'm successful where I am, and where I'm gonna be in a couple of years, that's none of my business. That, you know, I'm just gonna keep putting the work in now, you know, schedule things and have things lined up, but right now is what matters, and right now is the most important time that could be, because you can change right now. You can't change the future, you can't change the past, but you can change right now, and that can really, really impact a lot.
Right now is a gift, which is why it's called the present.
Exactly.
And it's a gift that we've all been given, and we've had other creatives on in the past, some of whom you've spoke with yourself. We've had Finlay from Our Union Street come in, who you had. I think you went up there.
I went to him when
just before Next Wave, isn't it? Yeah, he's come in. We've had Kieran Williamson, the film producer who made his own movie that went out.
He was at the networking event.
The Crow House.
Oh, there's so many ties.
This is it. But all these creatives who've come in, I always say the same thing, and they all seem to have the same approach to it. It's if you have an idea, make the idea.
Yeah.
Do it. There's no point just sitting on the idea. If you've got an idea, make the idea. We spoke before we came in here about the fact that we had this office before we even had the business itself. We then got the idea, we made the idea. We had a thing,
Yeah.
a podcast came to me, an idea, let's do a thing to promote local creatives and local businesses. Have we got all the gear for it? No. The very first episode we did of this was recorded at a round table on my iPhone. But it was like I had
You know
the
what?
idea.
iPhone quality. iPhone quality is great. Don't.
But this is
don't
the thing.
hate on iPhone quality.
This is why we say to people, make the idea. Everyone has access to this small little amazing device that can allow you to create anything. Even like with all your notes and everything that you do, voice notes become such a big thing.
100%.
Recording audios, recording videos, do something. You have an idea, make the idea. Stop sitting on the ideas. Please make your ideas and send them to us.
We want
so
to
we can
see
create
them.
Exactly, we do. Post them. We had Rosie Elliott in, who's in her 70s, author. 2 types. Second book's just coming out now. She's the head of the franchise House of Colour for all the makeup that we have on display in the back. And she's, again, just an advocate of just do the thing. Like, in her own words, get up, put your big girl pants on and go and do the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Just go and do it. There was no point sitting and waiting for things to happen. Just go do the thing.
And it can be so scary, and it can be, stepping out of your comfort zone. I feel like if I'm not out of my comfort zone, I'm not doing anything right.
Yeah.
Because
if I'm not stressed, it's not
if
worth
I'm not
it.
stressed, it's not happening. Yeah, you just kind of need to. And I think when you get there and when you have that bit of success, I think with Next Wave, I remember waking up the next day and I was like, oh my God, like this actually worked. Like my little idea that I decided to put to life, literally an idea in my brain that I took and I was like, oh, this is reality now.
Yeah.
It wasn't that easy, but I took it and I made it into reality. I think when you see how much you can actually do just with having a thought.
Yeah.
And if you work on that thought and if you make that a reality, when you see the outcome of that, and then, people like you telling me, you've made a difference and you've made an impact. I think there is not a more rewarding feeling in the world than being able to just help other people, essentially. And,
agreed.
and doing something completely by yourself that makes a difference and makes an impact, but also really fulfills you as a creative. And I don't think you can have a better feeling than that at all.
How on earth are you planning your 18th birthday and still do the... that sounds really... It sounds almost condescending and cliched to say it, and I'm so sorry for it, but at the same time, you've got so much passion for what you do, but you've developed a lot of your own, positivity and your own wisdom towards things, but you strike me as someone who doesn't just listen, you actually take in what people say. And I think that's a big difference for a lot of things. It's not, like, again, when we've spoke to other folk in the past, and it's always about conversations are so important, but it's more important to actually actively listen to someone than just wait for your turn to talk back. That's not a conversation. You seem to come across as this, you've got some feedback for me. Cool, give me. Let me sit, give me it now. I might not act on it, but I want it. You could tell me it and I'll be like, okay. But at the same time, it's like, it's worth hearing because you never know what you're going to pick up. And you've adapted and taken on so much that, there's nothing holding you back from what you actually want to achieve, which is good to see. That is really, really good to see, especially when you consider that you're now working on more music again for yourself. You've done Next Wave. That's been a thing. You've released songs. You've released albums. More coming. That's why you were down in London recently then, wasn't it? So what was you down in London? What was you down in London for? Great English there. Well done. What was you in London for?
I was in London for I had a little. I'll speak you through my itinerary.
Yeah, go for it.
So I got there.
Because then
and then I got to my hotel. No, I'm joking. When I got into London, the first night we were there, I went to a networking gig. It was Jodie Bryan's Discover Live. She is so cool. She's a BBC Radio 1 presenter, and she finds new talent and new music, and she puts it on Discover Live on a stage. And I love going to them. I feel like just being there, for the conversations, for you never know who you can meet. But as you know, London is a really competitive place, so it is it is quite difficult to make that conversation and to get those right people. But that opportunity being there is so amazing, and I think this time I was more there just to kind of take in what was going on stage. I love, you know, seeing artists and, you know, being there for artists, because it's so good, you know, when you have an audience to perform to, and you know, there's actually a full room. There's not a better feeling. But also, you know, for a more selfish reason, you know, taking in that performance and kind of critically, like you said, fully just comprehending, you know, what they're trying to put across, and how their music changes my emotions and changes how I feel, and just standing there. And you know, sometimes I'm like, I hope I don't look like I hate it, because I'm just stood there like just staring at,
like I'm learning, but I am enjoying,
like,
I promise.
I'm just fully immersing myself in this experience, and it can, from an outside perspective, look like I'm not enjoying myself, but I promise I am.
It's like at a gig with resting bitch face the entire time.
Just staring, just comprehending it. But no,
like I promise I am enjoying myself.
I think it is something that not a lot of people do at gigs, you know. Just the bopping along and the dancing, and I love doing that as well, don't get me wrong. But I think when you fully just stand there and you just take the music in, it's a completely different experience of a gig than as you would just going to chat to people. And the artists that were performing there, the artists that, you know, that I saw performing there the last time I was there, standing in the audience and kind of doing the same as myself, just kind of standing there and just kind of staring.
Yeah. Spot the artists in the crowd.
Yeah, exactly. Just taking it in and, you know, learning from that and saying, look, this is where they are now. And I think I still struggle a lot with comparing myself to people that are successful and to people that, you know, it's my step 5 and it's maybe their step 100. You know, you can't. Every journey is completely different. And I think, you know, sometimes you do compare yourself, and it's not to say, you know, don't do it. Don't compare yourself. You have to, because that's what pushes you to be better and to become the version of yourself that you want to be.
Just don't hate yourself for being at a different stage of the journey than they are.
Exactly, because it's not, you know, you can't control that. You know, you're only at this stage. You're going to be at this stage. You don't know where you're going to be, but they're already where you would like yourself to be. You can't compare yourself to other people, but you have to critically look at things and say, look, I want to be there. This is what they're doing. This is how they're acting on stage. This is how they're talking. This is their body language. This is how I want to be perceived. This is how I want to act on stage, because I feel like it'll make me a better artist. And taking that in and learning from that and taking mental notes and seeing what they're doing. And then stalking their Instagram after and being like, oh, this is what they've done for the past 3 years of their life to get them to this moment.
Go back and look through it.
I love stalking. It's one of my favorite things in the world. Just because, like, you get to, you know, social media is so cool when you take away all the bad stuff that it does. And just looking at people's journeys, because that's why, you know, people go on social media sometimes, just to document their journey and to see, to tell people how they got to that point that they were at. When they saw them in that certain moment, because you don't know what's been going on for the past 5 years.
Even if it's done unintentionally, everyone's journey is there on social media. You might not be posting it to dictate or describe your journey, but your journey's there regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
It's still there to follow.
Exactly. It's just some people are more public about
it.
Or
people are like, this is my journey.
And, this is me. This is what I do. This is my event. This is me singing.
This is my journey. I have done this and now I'm here. Whereas I'm like, this is what I've eaten over the last 3 days.
Back to London. I'm sorry. I'm completely blabbering on about journeys.
Tangents.
So after the Discover Live gig, I woke up the next day, brushed my... No, I'm joking.
Back to the itinerary. That's that by the minute to-do list one.
By the minute,
The next 3 minutes one is the brush teeth.
I then went for a session, which I don't know how I managed to get this to work, but I messaged Archie and Georgia, who I started working with. Actually, I met them through Discover Live.
Okay.
The last time I went, that was the first time I spoke to them, and I was like, I saw you guys on my TikTok, and I really want to work with you. And I didn't say it like that. I might have actually.
I was going to say I would have.
I might have. I came across very not desperate, just very enthusiastic.
Yes.
I would say.
A fan with a passion.
Yeah, but I think if you don't do that, then you know it's fine.
Yeah.
Like no one cares if you're too enthusiastic.
I'd rather people were too enthusiastic.
I'm trying to make myself feel better here, if you can.
I mean, being enthusiastic is a good thing because it shows you care, it shows the passion.
Thank
and
you.
it doesn't show crazy stalker vibes. It doesn't give off completely crazy stalker vibes who's been watching them. No, not at all.
Not at all. So I went up to them and I was like, look, I would love to work with you. And I messaged them after, and they said, oh, we have space open for a session, and we're actually going up to Edinburgh soon.
Oh, nice.
Because they have a little studio there as well. So I think it was, I don't even know when it was, a couple of months ago I went to their studio, and I got the first I showed them a song idea that I had, and it kind of developed into a song that we made, and our second session was on that song as well, and that one was in London. So the first one was in Edinburgh, second one was in London. Sorry, I just need to...
Yeah, go for it. No, this is the thing.
I'm talking too
much. We go all over the place, and this is why there's always like a coffee or water or something. I've even got a bottle of water sitting
My
over
throat
there.
is like drying out. It's just telling me to like shut up.
Your throat's just like, how long has he got left to go?
You've had enough.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so with Archie and Georgia, we just kind of, I don't know what it is, but you know when you find people that you know are in it for the music, and they're just there to put your vision to life and not to do anything else, literally just for the music and for being the kind of translators of, you know, a song that I have chords to, my voice to, lyrics to, play it on a piano to them, and they put that into perspective and they make that a reality. And I think the fact that they can do that for other artists and also do that for themselves, because they've got their own duo thing going on as well, Sundown Studios, that's what they're called.
There you go.
And I just think it's amazing what they do and how I had a chat with them actually a couple of days ago when I was doing my second session. I was like, look, next wave, my career, how do I balance that? Because they've got their studio stuff where they record for other artists, and they've also got their kind of their own side of things and their own you know, being artists by themselves. And I talked about a bit about balancing that together and doing that at the same time and kind of focusing on both of the things quite a lot, because I'm struggling. Like, obviously I'm doing a lot of my kind of personal music stuff right now, and I'm kind of slacking on Next Wave. I'm not really being active on those social medias, and I think that's something that I could work on, you know, being fully active on both projects and fully committed to both, and not having to step away from one when I have to do the other. But yeah, they're just such cool individuals. I feel like when you find producers that know what you want to do with your music and what you want to say with your songs, and people that can put that to life, I think there's not better people that you can work with. People that just know you and know what you want to say, and saying that through music is
people who share that same passion for music that you do, and it's not just about, you know, cool, send us your stuff, we'll produce this, we'll send it back and we'll move on. It's
mix and master it.
People who are actively involved in the process. So it'll be like, okay, you've done this, could we try this, try something this way? Would you mind if I would imagine there's a lot more of a constant communication process to produce something, as opposed to just,
definitely.
Cool, you've sent us the music, the lyrics, the vocals, whatever, we've put it together with this, here's the song back, move on to the next one. Yeah,
and there's been, you know, instances where I did that in the past. Yeah. And I remember one time I even sent, like, producers that I worked with before, I sent them a video of me, like a 20-minute video of me going through my notes, because they sent me back this song and I was like, I love it, but list of like 1,200 things that could be changed or could be done differently, or like, I would love to hear your thoughts on this, but like, I would really actually want that changed.
That's subtle. I like, maybe try this is code for
maybe
do this.
It could like change the direction of this of this certain riff that I don't really like. But no, there's so many things that go into a song that I think people don't see. It is a 3-minute song, but it's also weeks or months, sometimes even years of sitting down at a piano or at a computer and saying, look, I want to say this through a song, but I don't know how to do it. And I think working on that idea and saying that is something that, you know, just comes, maybe not comes naturally to you, but you learn, you know, with the process. I remember the songs that I've written in the past couple of years compared to the songs that I write now are so different. So dramatically different, just because with every day I gain a new perspective on something, or I think, oh, I could have done this differently. It's important to look at songs as well that like I've written in the past and be like, look, I don't like it, but you know, I've done this kind of well. I could improve this a lot. I could improve that even more. And just kind of looking at what happened before and thinking, oh, how can I implement that
Yeah.
into songs that I write now, because they're so different.
Yeah. How do you feel your own process has changed? Like, do you feel that not just the style that you're putting out or the music that you're writing, how has your own process kind of changed when it comes to songwriting now compared to then? Do you think you're a lot more...
was completely different.
Yeah.
I remember a song that I wrote, it was called Don't Know My Name. And I had a voice note. I had an idea. I was like, look, I've got an idea of a chorus, and I recorded it. Literally, I'm still really bad at piano, like awful at piano.
I mean, setting them on fire on the beach for music videos probably doesn't help.
that kind of translated my thoughts on that. I don't like pianos. No, I'm joking. It was a prop for everyone. I had so many people come up to me and was like, I hope you didn't actually burn a piano. I was like, no.
A link to the music video is down below for context to anyone that knows more.
Yeah, I burned a piano. I'm not crazy, I promise.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I suck at piano, but I remember I just sent them a voice note to my producers. I sent them a voice note of me going, I don't know how to stop myself. It was something like that. It was just the most out of time, just completely out of context.
Yeah.
Like, I feel bad for producers because they were probably like, Nicole, what? Like, I don't know. What
They played it back 3 times going...
But you know what?
Us?
They got the vision. They actually got the vision, and they got it really, really well. So sometimes, my mum will ask me like, Nicole, what's this song? And I'll be like, Mum, I don't know. But sometimes be like, yes, I know.
Yeah.
I know what you're on about. So they got it. They got the vision, and it turned into like one of the best.
I just love the idea of just doing something to it, sending it to someone, and then being like, what is this?
What?
Where's this come from?
But it was an idea, and I think it really helped as well to send over songs that I was like, oh, I want it to sound similar to this one, or I want this to have the same vocal quality as this song does. I sent over a bunch of ideas along with that one voice note, and they made it a thing, and it kind of, that was the first process that I had.
Yeah.
But then I think during the years of my personal development as an artist and as a songwriter, now I remember coming into the session in Edinburgh with Sundown, and I played them a song and I played chords. I would like to take a bow for that, because the fact that I even managed to put my hands on a piano, and well, I say that like I can play a few chords.
Yeah.
But yeah, I managed to do it, and I managed to write a full song by myself. I would always struggle with my choruses and my bridges. My chorus and my bridges were like that kind of thing that I would always be like, oh, I can't do it. But then, obviously with time, it all kind of comes to you. And the more you do it as well, I was really bad for writing a song and then releasing it. Like I would always, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but every song that I would write, I would release essentially. Yeah. Whereas, you hear these artists that have like millions of ideas, millions of demos, and they release like one, and I would always be like, oh, maybe I should like make more before I just throw this out into the world. Maybe it's not actually that good, or maybe I should just have more drafts of this. Yeah. But then I also think that was kind of like a impulsive like approach. Like it was like it was an impulse to just make a song, and I wrote it, and I'm gonna release it because it's real and it's what I wrote, and I wanted to release that. And
if you'd never gone through that process of releasing everything, you might not be at the process where you can release anything. You have to start putting things out into the world to build up that confidence in actually putting things out into the world. So no, I wouldn't say it was a bad thing to start throwing everything out there at once.
There's so many different ways that you could look at that, but I think I'm glad that I did it, and also I don't regret a single thing that I've done in the past with all of my music stuff. I don't think anyone does. Yeah. It's a big thing that everything that you have done up to this moment has led you to where you are now. Even me, seeing you, and remember when I saw you in the corridor and I was like, oh, I want to be on the radio.
Yes. Well, this is it. That actually spawns into something that we've said a few times on this. Shoot your shot.
Yeah.
Just ask the question. The worst thing, and I think Kieran said it as well, is the worst thing someone can do is say no. And if someone says no, then what have you lost?
That's rejection therapy. You learn to be rejected, and that's fine.
God, in that case, I've been through so much therapy in my life. So many jobs applied for and things tried for. But it's a solid way to look at things, is if you don't ask, you don't develop that confidence to develop the confidence. Sometimes you will never develop confidence.
No, but you just have to go get through it. And
willpower is one of the biggest things in the world. Fear is the enemy of willpower. Fear to do something will stop you, but if you have enough willpower to it, you can overcome the fear to just go in
That
doing
is
something.
so true. Yeah.
But yeah, so the process itself has obviously progressed almost as much as you
Yes.
have
And
as
I
an
think
individual.
as I grow as a person, I think my music is something really, really personal to me. And I wouldn't really see that in a different way. I wouldn't make that in a different way.
Yeah.
Before, I think most of my songs were very lighthearted and a lot like, oh, I'm happy now,
Yeah.
And then like I'm sad. Whereas now, obviously as you grow, you learn, different human experiences, people that have hurt you, people that have impacted you in a certain way, people that make you happy, people that make you sad, people in general.
People.
Yeah, well, it's
The cause
it's
of
such
and
a
solution to
big-
most of life's problems.
It's such a big thing to look at these human behaviors and to write songs about them, and to literally just take that and think, how has this impacted me as a person, and really personally be so in touch with how you feel and your emotions, and put that into a song, I think is a really cool skill. And everyone expresses their emotions in a different way, whether that's, dressing up or writing songs or I don't know, doing a cool kind of makeup that expresses how you feel.
Tattoos, changing your hair color,
exactly,
doing anything.
Yeah. All of those things express your emotions and how you feel, or they can do. And I do that through music, and it's just, I don't really know how to describe it. It's a really cool way of feeling and of showing your emotions and of showing your journey, because you do have to be really, really open. I think one of the bigger things that when I fully started to understand, I'm releasing music, these are words that are real to me. That's scary to show to people.
Yeah.
That anyone can view it on YouTube. Literally anyone can click the music video and can see it. That's my life. That is a piece of my heart out there that I have taken out of myself and I've just put on the table for everyone to experience.
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of courage and a lot of, like I said, being in touch with yourself, to be able to do that. And it's really terrifying, because sometimes you're like, oh my God, what if this person knows that this song is about them? First of all, you can never prove it.
No, exactly.
You can never prove it unless I say your name in the song. It's not about you.
Yeah.
And I get so many people being like, oh my God, who's this about? Who's that song about? Who's that video about? It's like, well, it's actually about my experience of how I took that in, of what happened, or of situations in my life. And yes, those situations can be including certain people, but these are my songs. These are about me. As selfish as that sounds, they're all to do with myself, and they're all to do with my journey. And
if people hear it and think, that's a negative song, is that about me? That kind of speaks more about them and their own approach to themselves than it does about you.
Why do you think that it could be about you?
Have you done anything like
Have
that
you
to me?
done
That would make you think that I have done that?
Exactly. Exactly.
It's at that point you start questioning your friendships with them now.
Exactly.
Going, hang on, it wasn't actually about you, but why do you think it is?
Exactly. What have you done?
And now I don't trust you.
No, but trust is such a big thing as well. I've learned to, I think the past couple of years has really taught me a lot about people and about trusting people and not trusting people. And I used to be a really gullible, like I said before, like anything that anyone would ever musically offer me, I'd be like, yes, let's do that. Like, let's make this project happen. Let's make this song happen. I'm so down. Let's go right now, tomorrow, today, tonight, like anything. I'd be so down for everything. And I think learning to just be like, no, I'll think about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can trust you yet. I don't know if this is the right move for me just
Fair.
now. So many situations that have just taught me to kind of take a step back and still be like, I'm still enthusiastic about everything.
Yes.
And I think sometimes you have to be like, someone offers you something really exciting and you have to be like, yeah, I'll think about it.
Yeah.
And you turn around and you're like,
Every part of you is screaming, just say yes.
Yes. I'm so down. But no, there's so many different situations that happen that, are negative.
Yeah.
But you just have to look at that from a different perspective and say, yeah, this was negative, but I've learned from this, and I'm not going to do this again, and I'm not going to let this happen to me again. I was sad about it, but I'm not going to let that happen again. I know what's happened, and I know how to think about that now, and how to change my perspective and how I see this, and it's going to be fine.
It was a learning opportunity that has provided a positive outcome. I think you say about being selfish. I Again, I've said it on here a few times, and anyone who knows me outside of doing all this stuff will have heard me say it. You're not the center of the universe, but you are the center of your universe. It's like your universe doesn't exist without you. Selfishness isn't a bad thing. Putting yourself first is kind of important, because if you don't put yourself first, no one else is going to do it for you, especially not in your own universe. And it's, the universe doesn't revolve around me, but my universe revolves around me.
Exactly. I am the main character in my life.
Yeah, you're an NPC and everyone else is, but you're a main character in your own.
Exactly.
I often wonder, I don't know if anyone else has had this, talk about random tangents, by the way. You know, when you bump into someone and you chat away, like even after this today, they'll be like, we'll have a conversation. After you head off, I'll be sitting here doing whatever I do. It's like, does that person still exist? Like, do you still, like, after you leave here, because to me, you're not there anymore. I don't perceive you. You're not here. But it's like, you're now off living your life, and I'm still here. But it's like...
It's so cool to think about.
You have to make the most of those interactions that you do have. Yeah. Because, like I say, after it's done, that person's off just living their own life. They're now off... They have now become an NPC in your life. They're not involved in it anymore. They're someone that you've engaged with. You've pressed the right buttons. You've done your interaction. You've moved on to the next level.
But like you're still there. You're still there with yourself, and just learning to fall in love with spending time by yourself as well. This is my little tangent that I'm going to go.
No, go for it. Go for it. This is what we need. Positives.
With everything that has, with the music industry and with having a career and goals and really, really, big goals that I've set for myself. I think just learning to be happy with spending time by yourself and being like, look, I can go see my friends, and I love seeing my friends. Don't get me wrong. I love seeing people, and I love human interaction, and I love chatting away. But I think when you fully just become happy with just sitting down, on my computer in a cafe with my little latte or cappuccino sometimes with chocolate powder.
Has to be done.
Just sitting away and typing and just kind of romanticizing my life and being like, I'm sat in this cafe just doing my work, just typing away this song that I have, this idea, how am I going to release it, how am I going to make promo for it. That, like, learning to just enjoy the little tiny moments that you have is so important to the big kind of journey that anyone undertakes, because at the end of the day, like you said, you have this human interaction. I could go sing on a massive stage right now, but then I'd go home the next day and I'd wake up in the same bed and I'd brush my teeth with my same toothbrush, and I'm still me. Like, it doesn't change who I am. And I think the people that say, "Oh, I'll be happy when I'm successful," when you're successful, you're still going to be the same person. It doesn't change who you are at all. It just changes the things that you do and the opportunities that you have. It's so important to just go home and maybe sometimes it can even translate to being maybe people that you say are too confident or like too full of themselves. They're not, because sorry, I completely lost my train of thought.
Got off on the tangent has gone off and gone away.
Tangents.
See, this is what the creative brain does. The ADHD of all creative brains.
I did have a point, I promise.
There is always a point. But this is it. It's that living in the moment and enjoying who you are and what you do now that matters more than anything else. I mean, I've quit jobs because I wasn't happy. Yeah. People are like, "Oh, but what are you going to do for money?" I'm like, I don't care.
It doesn't matter because it doesn't make me happy. It doesn't make me fulfilled.
I'd rather wake up in the morning and actually go, "Cool, I'm happy. I'm getting to do something I want to do right now." And that is much more important than going, how much money do I have in the bank account? How many people like me? Do I like me? I do this morning. Yeah. Cool. I'm going to enjoy myself as I go. Well, listen, it's been awesome chatting to you today. There has been loads still to come. Where can people find out more about you and your journey that you're on so far?
You can find me on social media. All kinds of social media. Everywhere. Instagram, Nicole D. YouTube, Nicole D. Spotify, Nicole D. All streaming platforms, Nicole D. Where else? Facebook for my mum. Facebook, Nicole D. Mostly for my mom.
Always for the parents and grandparents at that
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, everywhere. I would love if you connect with my journey, and if you kind of connected to the kind of things that I was saying today. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to be able to express myself.
Thank you for coming in.
There's so many videos out on YouTube and songs out on YouTube, but you don't really get to hear behind the scenes of that. Yes. And And yeah, I do actually have behind the scenes coming on my new music video.
Yes, I was going to say there is a new vlog coming out, which
There
we've
is.
seen. The camera photo has been posted on Instagram. The new vlog is coming. So if you haven't done so already, subscribe to Nicole's YouTube channel. The link will be in the comment section or the description or wherever the bloody hell I put it down below this. Thank you so much for coming in and chatting to us. We will be keeping up with your journey as you're going forward.
Thank you for having me.
Even before you become too big and popular for the rest of us, we will have you come back on for another episode once the next stuff's coming out.
Thank you.
And all the best with everything as it comes. Enjoy the next trip down to London. Don't forget about us little people back up.
Of course not.
We will be back with another episode next week of Seasonal Discussions, possibly in a brand new layout. I don't know. We're in the process of moving and making things bigger and better for your viewing pleasure. In addition to the episodes coming out and supporting us via subscribing, we do now have sponsorship opportunities available for every single episode that goes out. More information can be found at our website, seasonmedialimited.co.uk, or if you want the package to download and have a read, email us info@seasonmedialimited.co.uk. We'll see you in next week's episode. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.